All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm privileged to have all of you here. And it's a very exciting opportunity, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be part of this exciting program coming to you from KNUST Wellness Centre. And I know we are going to have a good time. So welcome everybody to the maiden edition of Time with the Dietitian, where we are having this monthly program to interact with a dietitian, basically on relevant topics that are important to our health. Can we begin with a word of prayer? Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this great opportunity. We thank you for bringing us together after a long day. It is my prayer that you give us a fruitful time. May you teach us a lot about our diet so that we can maintain good health for everything you want from us and for us to accomplish our purpose. In the name of Jesus, have we prayed with thanksgiving. Amen. So I'm going to be your moderator for today's session, Dr. Mary Japan Wellness Centre, and also from the Department of Biochemistry and Biotechnology. So today, this program is going to come on your screens as and when you tune in monthly, every Friday from 6:30 to 7:30. It's just only an hour, so we'll be as brief as possible, but I'm trusting that we are going to have a very exciting time. So today, we have a wonderful person in our midst, a registered dietitian in the person of Afrakoma, Amoah, who holds a BSc in dietetics from the University of Ghana and currently an MPhil candidate pursuing an MPhil program in nutrition and dietetics at KNUST. She is adept at the management of nutrition-related chronic diseases and passionate about creating awareness of healthy living through nutrition education. She loves to listen to inspiring music and an upcoming sound engineer. I'm Afrakoma. Welcome to the maiden edition of this program. You have the floor now. You can begin. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, is it okay? Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you.
It's only that there is an echo. I don't know why.
Please, is it better now?
Yes, it's better, but your slides are just showing different things, so I don't know.
All right. Please, can you see my slides now?
Yes, I can see.
Yes, I can see.
Yes, please. Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. I'm grateful to be here. It's a very great opportunity, and I don't take it lightly. I want to thank the staff and the board of the KNUST Wellness Centre for inviting me. And I hope that by the end of today's discussion and nutrition education, we will learn one or two things and that will help our lives in general. So as I've already been introduced, I'm Afrakoma Amoah, and I'm a registered dietitian, but currently in private practice. So the focus of our nutrition education this evening, we want to learn how to build a healthy living lifestyle, but with a more focus on healthy eating. So this will be our outline for our presentation today. We will learn what it means to live healthy, when and how to build a healthy lifestyle, the importance of healthy living, some tips for eating healthy, and some misconception about healthy eating. So before we start, I know that when the year is about to begin or ending, we all have plans to live healthy, especially when you check your blood. I don't know if you check your blood sugar before you check and you see a spike or your blood pressure or whatever. It triggers this decision that you want to live healthy. But for most people, healthy eating or healthy living is just a thought they have. they don't really put in an effort to live healthy. So I hope that by the end of this discussion this evening, we wouldn't just think about healthy eating, but we will actually make plans and act on it. So when we say healthy living, there is a focus on eating healthy, you are exercising regularly, you are reducing stress, and you are drinking plenty of water. This is because all these components have a link to health and nutritional well-being as well. So today we will learn how all these components help in our daily lives and how it will help us achieve a healthy living lifestyle. So one might be wondering, why is there the need for healthy living? Because I hope today isn't the first time we've heard about eating healthy or living healthy. But why is it the need to do so? This is because currently the leading causes of death are mostly linked to chronic diseases. And the genesis of these chronic diseases has been attributed to genetics, family history, and the lifestyle. So I always tell my patients and everybody I come across that genetics, you don't decide. You don't decide your makeup, your family history, you don't decide the family you belong to or the family you come from or even your tribe. But thankfully, you can decide your lifestyle, which is your diet and your physical activity. You can decide which lifestyle you adopt. So even if the genetics doesn't favor you and your family history has a problem, your lifestyle can put you at a better chance of avoiding these chronic diseases or getting it. So you might have a free genetics, your genetics might not predispose you to any disease, and you might not have any family history of any chronic disease, but your lifestyle will end you up with a chronic disease. So we want to know the leading cause of death globally. So from 2000 to 2019, if you can see the slide, you see that there is an increase in the first one being ischemic heart disease. There is an increase from 6.8 million to 8.9 million globally, and stroke being the second one. And all these two diseases have been attributed to lifestyle options. So the lifestyle of an individual predisposes the person to these chronic diseases. So we are talking about lifestyle associated diseases. So if you can see, if you can see, if you can see the slide projected, we have a tree and the tree has roots and leaves. Please, can you see the tree? Hello?
Yes, I can see, please.
Okay. So we can see the roots. So for example, if you have a tree in your house, you can't see the roots of the tree, but you can see the branches, and the branches and the leaves informs as whether it is an orange tree or a mango tree or banana or whatever. Is the fruit that determines that. So this tree, so that means that the roots we can't see, but we can see the leaves and the fruit. So an individual living, we can't see the lifestyle of the person. So the roots being the physical inactivity, the unhealthy diet, the alcohol abuse, and the tobacco. All these are things that we do not see. You can't see, I can't see someone and say, oh, you have an inactive life, unless maybe I take the measurement or something. But the fruits and the branches and the results will let us see the lifestyle you are having. So if I see somebody checks the blood sugar and the person has spiking blood sugars, it means that the unseen thing is your lifestyle, which is the root. But we can see the results now being diabetes or cancer or chronic lung diseases or heart disease or any other diseases. So those are what we can see. But the hidden truth is your lifestyle. So if you can change the unseen aspect of your life, it will demonstrate and we can see the results thereafter. So when do we start a healthy living, or when do we start healthy eating? The foundation of healthy living begins in the home. So in our homes, we pick up certain lifestyle. We have an adage in peace saying that one it means that the food that you don't see in the kitchen of your mother, you don't like that food. So that means that there are certain lifestyle and certain healthy eating habits that we pick from our homes. If your house, you are not used to eating vegetables or eating fruit, you grow up and not having that thing as your lifestyle. And healthy eating begins from childhood. So changes can be made effectively from childhood rather than adulthood. This is because when you are growing, if your healthy eating habits start earlier, you are able to prevent certain chronic diseases, and your predisposition to these chronic diseases will reduce. Nevertheless, it's never too late to start healthy eating, no matter your age or your current health status. So whether you've been diagnosed with a chronic disease or not, whether you are 60 or 30, it's never too late to start healthy eating. Even if you've been diagnosed with a disease, starting healthy eating now will reduce the severity of the disease or reduce the the severity and even reduce your risks of other comorbidities. So it's important that you start healthy eating and you start now. So the importance of healthy eating. So as I said earlier, it will lower your risk of diseases. It will improve your lifespan, improves your health and mental status, and it saves money. I see patients always say that healthy is expensive to eat healthy, but I always tell them that if healthy eating is expensive, if you start get a chronic condition where you are buying medication almost every month, and if you want the best medication that has high efficacy, that means that you have to buy more, and these ones are more expensive rather than trying to eat healthy now. So we are moving on to the main focus of our discussion this evening, that is healthy eating. And I hope we can get our notebooks, whatever, ready so we can put down something. You can call your family at this point. Okay. So this slide is showing Ghanaian healthy eating food step. I usually use this to educate people on how to choose the certain food groups. So when we look at step, the last step, we can see fruits, we can see vegetables, we can see our tubers, and we can see our cereals. And these food groups are the carbohydrates. And in this group, because there are different food groups here, we have the ones that we take in larger amounts, in medium amounts, and in small quantity. So when we pick this carbohydrate group, the vegetable portion are the ones that we are supposed to take in larger amounts, followed by our cereals and our tubers. Then the fruit will come. But most of the times in our Ghanaian setting, we end up eating either the tubers or the cereals small. So you can see somebody buying kenke, somebody will buy kenke 5 cedis. Then you see some small pepper, little pepper added to it, and fish. They have the fancies call something abom. They call one of their vegetables that they are stews they prepare abom. I don't know if it's called abom because you have to just dip it into the stew. I don't know why they call it abom. Maybe it's just the name. But I think maybe the name abom is affecting us. So we end up dipping the food into the stew just to pick a small portion of it. But it shouldn't be that way. So our stew and our soup portion should be more because these food groups have a lower starch content and they have a higher fiber content as well. And fiber has been shown to reduce reduce blood pressure, control sugar levels, and also control cholesterol levels as well. And the next portion will be our tubers and our cereals. And these are also healthy and they also come along with their fiber and their other antioxidants. And one of the things I want to point out here is that when we are choosing the cereals, we want whole grain cereals. So cereals with the fiber in addition, or with the outer coat in addition, because these ones has the fiber in place, and that will help with the benefits of fiber as earlier stated. So we don't want foods that are refined. So we should be mindful of refined carbohydrates, refined starch, and refined cereals like our white bread, white perfume rice, we can name it. Foods that have the fiber removed, because you end up um, not getting the benefits of fiber in there and other vitamins that are present in the outer coating of the cereals. Then the fruit becomes the next option. So we have to adapt a lifestyle of eating fruit every day. It's really, really, really rare in a Ghanaian setting. People don't eat fruit, but they will buy chips, they will buy ice cream, they will buy sugary beverages, but they wouldn't buy fruit. And they defend themselves by saying that fruits are expensive. I always say that try to eat the fruits that are in season, because those ones are quite cheaper. But then if we are going for fruits that are in season, we should be mindful of the quantity. Yes. So vegetables should be the larger quantity, followed by tubers or cereals, then the fruits. The next step, please, are you with me?
Yes.
Yes, please, we are
Okay.
with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Thank you. So the next step, we can see our eggs, our fish, we can see chicken, we can see meat, we can see nuts, beans, groundnut. Yes, these food groups are known as the protein. We want to stress on healthy protein, healthy protein. So not every protein we see is healthy. We want the healthy protein. If I say healthy protein, I'm talking about the lean meat, our nuts and our legumes, our fish, our poultry. Yes. So these food groups are important, but then we want to stress on the variety. The variety is very, very important. The variety. So you are taking in fish, you are taking in your eggs, you are taking in your lean meat, your poultry, and your legumes. And one particular thing we are not so good at is the intake of our nuts and our legumes. Most people are not good at that, but these ones have high fiber content. They have a lot of antioxidants, and they have a lot of vitamins as well. So we should adapt the lifestyle of eating these granules and the beans. And the granules also have healthy oils, the monounsaturated oils and the polyunsaturated oils, which are the good oils. Yes. So I believe that the next time we are buying our wache or we are buying our TZ, we'll be mindful of the protein option we pick. Or the next time you are preparing your light soup, you'll be mindful of the protein option you pick. You wouldn't select meats that are high in fat, but rather you select meats that have that are lean meat and have healthy protein content as well. So the next step is our oils. So we can see two different oils. We can see the red one and our vegetable oils. So with the oils that we have the two main groups of the oils. So we have the saturated oils and the unsaturated oils. So the saturated oils are the ones that settle at room temperature, the ones that solidify at room temperature. Those ones are the saturated oils. And the unsaturated oils are the ones that remain the same. It doesn't solidify, it's still liquid at room temperature. So the healthier ones are the unsaturated oils. So our vegetable oils, you can think of our vegetable oils being unsaturated oils. So every vegetable oil you can think of, yes. And one thing I want to stress is that we are saying the unsaturated oils are the healthiest, but the way we prepare our food, we heat the oil too much, such that by the time you are even done with the food preparation, it becomes more poisonous and more deadly than the saturated oils. So I would advise that we change our method of cooking. So if your intake of a particular food is just frying of the food. You can adapt other healthy options of cooking, boiling, steaming, grilling, rather than frying. So this reduces your risk of eating saturated oils eventually. Not to say that our red oils are not healthy. They are healthy. It contains vitamin A. So it has to do with the moderation and the quantity you are using. Even if you are using the saturated oils, the unsaturated oils, sorry, and you are taking it in larger quantity, you.
I think her lines went off, but she's trying to reconnect. So
Oh, Mate. Okay.
okay, I think she's back on. Please, let's stay tuned.
Can you see my slide now? Sorry for the breakup in the network. Please, can you see my slide
please,
now?
we can see your slides.
Yes, please.
Go on.
It's on.
Sorry for the break. So before I left off, I was talking about our oil intake. So we are saying that the unsaturated oils, which the oils that do not settle at room temperature. So if you just want to know if the oil you are having is unsaturated or saturated, just leave it there. And if it doesn't solidify, then you are using an unsaturated oil. And I was talking about the quantity. We should still be mindful of the quantity in our cooking methods as well. So from the step, you see that we move from a larger step to a smaller step. And so that is how the proportion should be. So the oil should be smaller, followed by your protein, then your carbohydrates. And the carbohydrates, the vegetable portion should be larger, followed by your tubers or your cereals, then the fruit. So ideally, this is how our plate should look like. But don't judge yourself if your plate isn't this way. So if ideally our plate should have half of it being our vegetables, then the next half we will divide it into two. A portion being our main carbohydrate with fiber. That means that if whether it's a tuber or it's a cereal and any form of meal that you have prepared, the fiber should be in there. That is why it has been stressed carbohydrate with fiber. Then our protein, lean, so healthy protein. Because if you're not careful, you might think you are taking in a protein, but before you finish, it will be fat rather than protein. The protein content will just be small and the fat being larger. Yes. So don't judge yourself if your plate isn't like this yet. It's just a matter of time. That is why we are talking about lifestyle. So it isn't something you just start. You begin from somewhere. So maybe currently your vegetable portion is taking the portion of the protein on your plate right now. Don't be worried. It's better you start from somewhere rather than not starting at all. So I always tell patients ask me, so how do I start? I don't like eating vegetables. How do I start? I always tell them that start by just taking a handful of vegetables. So cut any vegetable of your choice, whether raw, cooked, or steamed. Just take a handful, or you can use your ladles in the house. So your flat ladle, you can start with a flat ladle. Just take one of that, and gradually you increase. It's a lifestyle you are building. You can't just start from somewhere. So this is how our place should look like. But as I said earlier, don't be worried if it is not like this at the moment. You will surely get there. So let's go through some tips for eating healthy. So we should have a regular and consistent meal time, and avoid eating late. Late eating has been attributed to a higher visceral fat, higher abdominal fat, and that has been linked to a lot of diseases. So let's be mindful of late eating, and that alone can put you at risk of several diseases. So let's have a regular and a consistent meal timing. And having a regular and consistent meal timing also controls your sugar level. So I always tell my diabetic patients that even if you don't do anything at all, just have a consistent meal time. Just eating at consistent meal time regulates your blood sugar level. And let's reduce the frequency of eating outside home. And I know that currently, looking at how hectic our working conditions are, it's very difficult to eat from home. So what I would say is that if you are eating from outside home, especially in a restaurant, try and order foods that are low in fat or low in sugar or low in oil and salt as well. Sorry, so low in fat, low in sugar, and low in salt, because these are mainly the three ways and the three means by which these non-communicable diseases come up. So let's be mindful of these things and let's adapt a lifestyle of eating fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables. So if you don't have a lifestyle of taking in fruits, develop one today. Also, let's take in a lot of fiber-rich foods, as I said earlier, and reduce the intake of refined food. And when we were talking about the oils, I said the need to use the unsaturated rather than the saturated. But let's still be mindful of the quantity and our method of cooking as well. And let's try and vary our protein options. People, when you mention protein, the only thing they say is meat or fish, or even with the fish, just a particular way of eating the fish, frying or dry fish. Let's change our method of cooking. So let's increase our scope. So don't let it. Let's try and avoid a monotonous way of eating. So you are eating fresh fish, you are eating grilled fish, you are eating fried fish, but not regularly. You are taking in your dry fish. Let's change the method of the cooking. So we have our eggs, our beans, unsalted nuts, lean meat, and our poultry. And try and adapt the use of our natural spices rather than our artificial ones, because these artificial spices have a lot of sodium intake. They have a component of sodium they use called monosodium glutamate, and that has been shown to have a link with hypertension, then cardiovascular disease. So let's be mindful of that. So I always tell my patients that to identify artificial spices, you can easily identify it because it comes in pre-packed. It's always pre-packed in a sachet. That's what I always say. I don't want to mention the brand, but unless on the sachet they've indicated natural, know that you are using an artificial spice. And let's also if we can totally eliminate, fine, but restrict our intake or reduce our intake of junk foods. So foods that are high in sugars, high in fat, high refined with no fiber. Let's try and reduce our intake of these foods. So we can talk about healthy eating without the need for physical activity. Physical activity is very, very important if we want to maintain a good health. So the recommendation for physical activity is brisk walking. Brisk walking 150 minutes every week. So if I want to divide it across the days of the week, it can be 30 minutes for five times a week. So 30 minutes, 5 days in a week. So I always tell my patients that you don't need a gym before you can start exercising. You just don't need a gym. But if you have a difficulty in adapting physical activity lifestyle, then maybe the gym could help you. So you can make good use of the KNUST Wellness Centre. They have a gym as well, any gym closer to you. Or you can do the brisk walking. So you can find time within the day and just brisk walk around your neighborhood, around your house, just 30 minutes for 5 times in a week. If you are starting, maybe you might starting the 30 minutes, if starting the 30 minutes might be difficult for you, you can start from somewhere. It's better than not starting at all. So you can start with 10 or 15 minutes, then gradually you increase to the recommendation being 30, or you can even exceed the recommendation if you want to. So physical activity improves the insulin levels, reduces our weight, it's a control on your weight, it lowers our cholesterol level, and also lowers our blood pressure level as well. So there are several misconceptions about eating healthy, and people say healthy eating is too boring, it's too late to start. and healthy foods have no taste and it's expensive. But if healthy eating is boring for you, try maybe it might be the appearance of your food or how you prepare the food or how you serve yourself. So healthy eating, food should have a nice appearance and it should be tasty as well. Yes. So try using some natural spices to spice up your food rather than eating a bland food or a tasteless food. That will be very difficult to eat. And it's never too late to start healthy eating. It's never too late. No matter your health status, you can start today. It's better you start today than not starting at all. And healthy eating is not expensive. Having a disease and managing the disease is. So let's try our best to adopt a healthy eating lifestyle today and save our money. So to conclude, I would say everybody needs a dietitian. Everyone needs a dietitian. Even if you are currently healthy and you don't have a disease or your family is free from any family history of chronic disease, you still need a dietitian. So you need a dietitian to plan your meals for you. You need a dietitian to advise you on healthy food options. There are several people around us right now who are propagating a bad gospel on healthy eating. So a dietitian is a specialist when it comes to eating healthy and would advise you. And nutrition screening is important. So it's important you screen yourself. It's important you go to check your blood sugar, your pressure, your cholesterol level. And this is a lifestyle that most of us don't do or haven't even thought of it. And it's better you know your status now so you know how to plan for the future. So nutrition screening is very, very important. So you know if you are at risk of any disease, whether you have it, whether it's on the way, whether you are away, so you know what to do. And the food you eat today will determine how you spend your money tomorrow. So I hope that by the end of today's meeting, whenever you are eating, ask yourself before you start eating, ask yourself, is this food drawing me closer to a chronic disease or is drawing me away from a chronic disease? If you are able to answer yourself correctly, then you will know the path you've taken. So thank you very much for your attention, and I will stop here for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Afrakoma, for the insightful presentation. Personally, I have learned a lot from this presentation. Remember, she was talking about the fact that we should make an effort to eat healthy, because sometimes during the beginning of the year, we all have exciting and interesting ideas, or we have plans to eat healthy. But usually by 5th of January, we've thrown all that out of the window. But it's just an effort a day at a time, and we will make progress. So please, if you have any questions, I'm opening the floor for questions now. You can type them in the chat box, or you can unmute your mic and type, and also tell us about your questions. But before that, this program is brought to you by KNUST Wellness Centre, a center for healthy aging. And we have services that include medical education, physiotherapy, medical nutrition and diet therapy, sports and exercise, as well as counseling and psychotherapy. You can call us on 024-288-7536 or 024-015-2493 to book an appointment to meet with any of our our doctors and our specialists. We are located at the Hale and Hearty Center, close to the KNUST swimming pool. We will be expecting you to visit us one of these days. Thank you very much. Please, I have some questions in the chat box, so I will start with those questions before we can unmute our mics to ask our individual questions, if there are any. So the first question I had, I can't find it anymore, but someone was asking about the times to eat. I don't know if Afrakoma is still on, but someone is asking about fruits and fruits intake. Should we take, when should we take fruits, before or after meals? So if Afrakoma is on, she can help us with an answer.
All right. Doc, please, can we, or when you say the question, then I answer, or
Yes.
maybe you say maybe 2 or 3 questions at a time, then I answer.
Anyhow you prefer.
All right, sure. Okay, so let me answer. All right, so with our fruit intake, so if you are taking your first meal of the day being a fruit, that might be a problem. But if you are eating the fruit so it's advisable that you eat the fruit in between the meals. That is the recommendation. So you eat the fruit in between your meals. Yes. So eating the fruit in between the meals is healthier. Yeah. But I wouldn't recommend eating the fruit being the first meal you take. Some people have conditions such as ulcer that might not permit them to take certain fruit as early in the day and being the first food to eat or the first meal to take in the stomach. So it would be advisable if you eat your fruit in between the meals. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer. Thank you very much. So there's a question here from Emmanuel. Emmanuel would like to know if a diabetic can take mangoes, watermelons, and oranges, because she knows a diabetic who is taking insulin shots sometimes doesn't feel hungry but has to take the shots. Are there any risk of not eating and taking insulin shots? So Emanuela wants to find out if I think there are 2 questions. The first one is whether a diabetic can take mangoes, watermelons, and oranges, and also whether a diabetic can skip meals and still take their insulin shots.
Yeah. So hello, Doc, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And we are listening.
Okay. Please, the question was about if a diabetic can take fruit.
Mangoes, watermelons, and oranges. And
Okay.
also, if a diabetic is skipping meals, can he or she still take the insulin shots?
Okay. So on no grounds should a diabetic skip meals. On no grounds should a diabetic skip meals. I'll repeat it again. On no grounds should a diabetic skip meals. So you can't skip your meals and take your insulin shots. The action of the insulin is to reduce the excess, so to remove the excess blood sugar from the body into the cells. So if you are skipping, which blood sugar is the insulin going to work on? Yes, so you can't skip meals. You can't skip meals and take your insulin shots. You run into hypoglycemia, what we call low blood sugar level, and that is more deadly than even the hyperglycemia. And a diabetic can take fruits. A diabetic can take fruit. And so it comes, you have to see a dietitian to show you the quantity of fruits to take, but you can't say you are avoiding fruits because you're a diabetic. No. So a dietitian will plan your meals for you in a way that will incorporate these fruits in their right proportion. Yes. Thank you. I believe that answers the question. Hello, Doc, please, can we move on to the next question?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Sorry. So, Akosia wants to find out.
There's a hand up there. Can you see?
I'm reading this. I'm reading this question. Then, is it good? Akosia wants to find out if it is good to take apple cider vinegar in the morning prior to breakfast and also at night before one sleeps. Apple cider vinegar early in the morning and also late at night. Afrakoma.
So, people mostly take the apple cider vinegar to lose weight, yes, to increase their metabolism and lose weight. So there isn't any recommendation on it as to if it's compulsory to take it in the morning or in the evening, but it's and it's not a definite as well. It's not definite that you take that. But as I said earlier, if you take it in the morning and you don't have any issues if you don't have any stomach problems, then I think you are fine. But it will be advisable if that isn't the first thing you do. Yeah.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. So there's a hand. Mr. Edward Yabwa, please, can you unmute your mic so that we can ask?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I typed the question on the time for taking the fruits. Specifically, I wanted to know if it's before or after, at what time interval? Yeah, because there have been a lot of debate on it. Some say that you should take it before. Some say that it's not advisable after meal. And if you want to take it after meal, there is a minimum time period. Yeah, so specifically when I typed, that one was missing from your question. Thank you.
Okay, Afrakoma.
So so with the fruit intake, as I said earlier, it's actually better you take it in between your meals. So for example, if your breakfast is around 8:30 in the morning, your lunch is around 12, your supper is ideally before 7 p.m. So could be 6 or 6:30. The fruit can be in between the 8:30 and the 12 p.m. or in between the 12 p.m. and the evening meal. So you can position your fruits there or any healthy snack you have. Please, that answers the question.
Yeah, I wanted a definite answer on the minimum time interval. Yeah, suppose I've taken my breakfast. I've done my lunch, and I want to take it between the last meal and the lunch. After the lunch, at what minimum time can I take the fruit? That's what.
Okay, so there isn't any minimum time to it. People even add the fruit in addition to the meals they are taking. So there isn't any minimum time for it. Any way that works for you. So somebody's fruit can be part of the breakfast. Another person's fruit can be fused into the lunch. So the most important thing is you are taking the fruit as recommended or in a day. So there isn't any recommended thing that if you take the food, you wait 3 hours, no. So you can fuse it in between the meals. Maybe if the breakfast is 8, lunch is 12, the fruit can be around 10 or 11. But as I said earlier, it's not a fixed thing. You can still add it to your food and absorption will take place. Yeah. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. Nana.
Thank you. So there is a question from Adumaku Blaze Johnson Kennedy. So he's saying that he has heard that trans fats are not healthy, and he would want to know if it is true and why.
Okay. So yes, trans fats are not healthy. So it comes up by excessive processing of fat. So it's even more dangerous than the saturated.
I think we lost her. She will join us very soon. But before she joins us, I have this announcement. So you can book an appointment to meet our dietitian on weekdays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the KNUST Wellness Centre, located at the Hill and Hattie Center, close to the KNUST swimming pool. Afrakoma, if you can hear me, you can come up so that we can continue the. Okay, there's a question before she comes up. Juliet, I can see your hand. Please, you can unmute your mic.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening. Thank you very much for the nice presentation. This is a personal concern that I want to share. I'm diabetic. Then there is this misconception. I don't know whether I should call it misconception or that maybe eating cassava and other things, are not good for diabetics. But personally, anytime I eat wachi, gari and beans, and also maybe konkonte, anytime I eat these foods, I see that my glucose level drops. Sometimes I go hypo. So I don't know if it is personal, like maybe my body makeup, or generally it is not good for others. Because anytime I eat beans, I will take my insulin shot, all right. But if I don't take care, the sugar drops and I go hypo. So I want to ask the dietitian to maybe clarify things. Maybe it will benefit me, benefit others. What is inside? What's the component? What is inside beans? And also maybe the gari that's, stabilizes or drops the sugar. That is what I want to ask. Thank you.
Okay, so
All right. Please, I'm back. Okay,
okay,
sorry.
you got
Oh,
the
no,
question.
sorry.
Okay, Afrakoma, I wanted her to read through it, but if you got it, it's fine. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I had beans and gari. So beans is mainly carbohydrates, and it's shocking to people. Beans is mainly carbohydrates.
Okay.
Then the protein will come in. So the larger portion of beans is carbohydrate, and you have spiking sugar levels. So
No, it rather drops. I rather go hypo.
okay, so it can be in addition, maybe, are you on insulin or you are taking an oral medication?
Yeah, both the insulin and also the oral, the metformin.
Okay.
Yes,
All
but
right.
anytime I eat it, especially in the morning, when I eat wachi, when I eat gari with beans and maybe cocoa, or I eat konkonte, especially in the evening when I eat konkonte, afternoon or maybe evening, I realize that the sugar lowers, it goes down.
Does it, please, does it go down like it stabilizes? That's what you want to say?
It goes down sometimes. I record 2.5.
All right.
I get a reaction, and when I check, I see that it goes down.
Okay, so it could be that so the insulin is acting on carbohydrates. So get that, or the oral medication, they are acting on the sugars in the blood. So that means that it could be that the amount of carbohydrates you are taking at the meal is too small compared to the dosage of the insulin and the oral medication you are taking.
Okay. Sorry.
So,
The thing is, what I take in the morning and evenings are same, static. It doesn't change. But the thing is, I can eat maybe rice, I can eat bangkun, I can eat any other meal. It doesn't react like that. But if it is wachi, if I eat wachi, maybe the quantity amount, maybe if I compare it to maybe jollof, it will be the same. But when it is wachi, when it is gari and beans, or maybe the beans with cocoa or any other thing, I see that maybe short time, then I record low values for my glucose.
For your sugar levels. So
for
okay,
my sugar levels.
So as I said earlier, you see, if you are comparing wache to our white rice, the wache has a lot of fiber. And what the fiber does is the fiber isn't digestible. And fiber because it isn't digestible, so that means that literally no sugar is coming from the fiber. Do you get my point?
Yes, please.
So when the body digests the wache, the amount of sugar it releases into your bloodstream for the insulin or the oral medication to work on is lesser than the white rice jollof you've eaten. Because the jollof doesn't have a lot of fiber. It has, it's in the refined state. So the digestion will readily sugar available into the blood.
Okay.
So in effect, what I'm trying to say is that the jollof will have a higher glycemic index, but the wache will have a lower glycemic index. So the jollof will cause a higher rise in your blood sugar than the wache.
Okay.
So the wache is making your blood sugar a bit stable, and you are taking in insulin to lower it again. Rather than eating the jollof being having is refined.
Okay.
So you get more sugars from the jollof. It's just telling you that. So I think you are even treating your own self. It's just giving you a sign that eat healthy. So if you eat healthy, you are recording low values.
Okay.
So you have to go back to your doctor, because the wache you mentioned is healthier than the white rice you were talking about.
Okay.
So go back to your doctor. Tell him that if you eat the healthier foods, you are recording higher sugars. So they reduce your medication for you.
Okay.
So the problem is not with the food. It's just telling you it's helping you stabilize your sugar. And those might be high, and your oral medication too might be a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Afrakoma. So we have about 4 minutes. There are 2 questions. I'm trying to squeeze everything so that we can just play some time. So Afrakoma, someone actually sent me a message backstage about consuming white rice. So I'm bringing it up now that this issue is coming up. So she says that she's guilty. She likes a lot of white rice, and she also likes a lot of white bread. And even in Ghana, we know that if you go to a regular supermarket and there are 10 brands of rice, you will not find a high fiber rice in Ghana. It's not so common. I'm not saying it's not there. So for people who are so used to taking white rice or the jasmine rice as it is called, please, how can we eat it? Because I am sure that if anybody has eaten rice today, I'm sure about 90% it was white rice. So can you show us how we can eat our white rice, how we can eat our white bread so that it can be healthier, so that actually it can be healthy? Thank you.
All right, thank you too for the question. So when we were discussing the carbohydrate groups, we mentioned the vegetables. Yes, so one thing we can do is the white rice is refined, no fiber. So get something that has fiber and add it to the food. So you can cut your vegetables and add it to the food. So I always tell my patients that fetch the normal rice you would have fetched. Fetch the normal rice. If it was wache, you would have fetched the same thing. So fetch the normal rice you would have fetched. And at least divide the rice you fetched into maybe 4 equal parts. Take a quarter from it. Replace that quarter with vegetables. Or take half of that. Replace with vegetables. So at the end, but if you incorporated a fiber option to it, or you can cook your rice with beans, your rice with peas. Get something that has fiber, or you can eat your rice with the vegetable stew. So that means that you are taking in more of the vegetables. So maybe contourme stew, beans stew, any vegetable stew you have. Yes, that is one of the ways we can do that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hope
so
that's
very, very helpful information. Very helpful information. So a question from Emanuela. So she's saying that how can I get my kids to take vegetables? They usually remove them from the food. The likes of carrots, green pepper, lettuce. Again, how many times can one take boiled eggs? So this is it from Emanuela.
Okay, so children can be very picky, with their vegetable intake. So maybe you have to know their preference. Maybe they have a preference for a particular vegetable. So you have to keep trying and don't give up. So keep trying other vegetables and see. Or maybe it can be the presentation of the vegetable. So maybe if it's raw, they would have taken it rather than you cooked it or something. Yeah. So try the presentation and and find out their preference. Maybe they have a preference for a particular vegetable and not just what you are talking about. Yes. And the presentation too. The presentation of the food will also attract them.
Yeah, so one thing that has worked with some clients. Yes, one thing, sorry for cutting you if I did.
No problem, no problem.
Someone is putting something that blend the vegetables, and I wanted to add it to what has been said. So there is one thing that has worked with some clients is sometimes they will blend the carrots and they will blend the vegetables and add it to the stew. In the end, the vegetable gets consumed and they don't get the opportunity to take it out of the
Yes. Thank you, Doc. Yes. That is also one of the ways. Yeah.
So
that means that, sorry, Doc, please, sorry to cut you. Then that means that if we are adding to it, then we should be mindful of the heat application. So you can't heat the stew too much, else some of the vitamins might be depleted. But yes, you get the fiber anyway, so that's fine.
Okay. Please hope we are all okay with the questions. There's another question here, but I think, Juliet, you may want to see the dietitian because yours is a very specialized case, and seeing a dietitian will help with answering all the questions. You're asking about less cassava, more plantain consumption as a reality for diabetics. So, but I think that, I don't know if Afrakoma will take a minute to answer that, but our time is also up, so I'm not sure of that. But you have our numbers. You can contact the Wellness Center because it's a specialized case. In any case, I think that with what Afrakoma has said, you would want to see a dietitian so that you can even review your diet and even review your drugs for you. Okay, so I hope that works well. So, Afrakoma, there are more questions. I'm not sure what to do at this time. Time is up. Someone is asking whether how do we can toxins from vegetables, and what about boiled eggs?
Okay, so Doc, are we answering the questions?
Yes, I think that we can take about 5 minutes to answer the questions, and that's all. 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Yes, please. Yes. So please, the question again. Sorry.
So the question about so she's asking about fufu. Is the less cassava, more plantain consumption a reality for diabetics? That is Juliet's question.
Okay.
Then
so
I think
this is that it.
Yeah, there are 2 more questions, but we can answer them.
All right. Okay. So I think the reason behind this less cassava, more plantain is that plantain contains less starch than cassava. So if you are eating plantain and I'm eating cassava, it's the same quantity. When we are measuring how high your blood sugar will rise, the person who took the plantain will have a lower rise than the person that took the cassava. So basically that is the reason why we say these things. Yeah. But yes, still it comes down to the quantity. If you are taking more plantain and you are exceeding the quantity you are supposed to take, you end up having the same issue. So you can still go with your less cassava, more plantain. But not to say that cassava isn't good, because if you are comparing fufu to konkonte, konkonte has been shown to have a lower glycemic index than fufu. So the problem is not the cassava, is the state of the cassava. If you further dry it, it reduces the starch content. That is how konkonte is. So we say healthier than fufu. So it's just how it rises the blood sugar level. So you can still go for the less cassava, more plantain. Yeah. But yes, so the quantity should be factored. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So someone is asking, how do we remove toxins from vegetables?
Okay, so recently I came across a I came across a vinegar, no, but not the normal vinegar we know that they've indicated it can remove toxins from vegetables. Yes, so we can still do with our normal salt and our vinegar. Yeah, that will do. Or if better still, you can steam the vegetables if you are taking it raw. If you are not so sure of the sauce or whatever, you can steam the vegetables if you are not so sure. Yeah.
All right. So someone has a
But
question.
please, if you have anything to say concerning that.
Don't worry, it's fine. So yes,
Alright.
removing toxins. I've also come across the article you're talking about. Vinegar works and salt solution also works. So how many times can one take boiled eggs? How many times can one take boiled eggs? So that's still enough.
Okay, so the issue with eggs is is very interesting because people are saying less eggs. So I say that, how much protein are you supposed to take in a day? It's not egg is not the tag saying so there is no recommendation saying take 2 eggs a day, take 1 egg a day, take 3 eggs a day, take 4 eggs a day. So don't exceed the protein intake you are supposed to take in a day, and that is the help of a dietitian that will help you. And vary your protein options. So it's not a one-way thing like compose you take an egg a day or take 2 eggs a day. So the most important thing is you are varying your protein options. If you are taking an egg, you are changing it to fish, you are changing it to poultry, you are going for your nuts and your seeds. I think that should be the focus rather than the fixed thing that how many eggs should I take a day. If you are not exceeding your protein recommendations, I think you can. So what I want to say is that there is no a recommendation that take this amount of eggs a day. The most important thing is you are not exceeding your protein intake and you are varying your protein options as well. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah, so this for healthy individuals, but if you are managing a particular chronic disease, you may want to speak to your dietitian so that at that point,
yes,
there can be some variation, but as healthy individuals, we don't have a lot of restrictions when it comes to boiled eggs. Then, is it advisable to take coffee with milk daily?
There isn't any catch me take coffee with milk or don't take coffee with milk. Yes, so anyway that works best for you. But people normally take the coffee raw. So there isn't any recommendation for that. So any way you take it, the most important thing is you are not exceeding your caffeine intake in the day. So you are not exceeding your caffeine intake in a day. Yeah.
Yeah, then also if you're also managing a chronic condition,
disease, yes, be mindful. Yes, thank you, Doc.
Yes. Then I think this will be the last question for today. After that, we'll have another exciting program next week, so we can shove our questions for next week. Is it advisable to do fufu with cassava and cocoyam? Someone is asking.
Is it advisable to do
fufu with cassava and cocoyam?
Yeah, anyway that works for you. So you can do with cassava, with cocoyam, with plantain, with whatever. Yeah. So then again, what we said earlier, so that means that your soup should be more because the soup contains the vegetables. Yes. So anyway, that works for you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Afrakoma, for this insightful presentation and for answering all our questions. In fact, I'm really excited about this whole thing, and I really appreciate all your efforts. Do you have any closing remarks? Do you want to say anything before we sign off?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and I'll end by saying that let it not end here. I believe this is not the first time most of us have heard about healthy eating, but what have we been able to do about it? So I believe that whatever we've heard today, it's time to act. It's time to act now. We've heard about healthy eating. It starts from today. Don't wait till when you check your pressure and you get scared, or you check your sugar and you get scared. Let's start now. And no matter your health status, you can still begin. There is still hope. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All too soon, the program has ended. We are going to have an exciting program next month where we are going to bring a dietitian from Konfo Teaching Hospital to talk to us about a very interesting and a relevant topic. I'm not going to tell you the topic this week, but I know you are going to receive our flyers. Please tell a friend to tell a friend about this exciting program. As you are learning, you want all your friends to also stay healthy. So I'm believing that we are going to share the link to other friends as well. Tomorrow we are having our health walk and aerobics at 5:30 a.m. at the KNUST Wellness Centre at the Hill and Hattie Centre, close to the swimming pool. 5 a.m. That's the time. It's usually a short time, between 5:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. We will be done by then. So please make sure that as you have learned about walking, physical activity, 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week, you would want to put it into practice. So tomorrow, as we finish the exams and we all want to stay fit, I think it will be a good opportunity for us to start by coming for the program tomorrow. So like I mentioned earlier, this program was brought to you by the KNUST Wellness Centre, a center for healthy aging. You can call us and book an appointment with us. So there'll be flyers around with our numbers. We'll send it to all our platforms, and I know you will get the numbers. I could say that again: 024-288-7536, 024-288-7536. You can call us at any time, book an appointment with our physiotherapists, our dietitians, sports and exercise, fitness coaches, etc., to make sure that you stay healthy. So at this point, I'm going down the curtain. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for inviting your friends. Next month is going to be another exciting program. Till then, have an amazing and healthy month. Bye-bye.